Hello viewers, you're welcome to your show, my show, our show, the Digging Deep Show. Thank you ever so much for tuning into the program. And as usual, we promise that 2015 is a year of developing the men within. Yes, I'm talking to you. Yes, you. Capital letter Y-O-U. We are bringing different people on this channel to develop our people, to expand us, to make us see new things so that we'll move with time. So I know that there are some people who are doing businesses, and there are some who are working and they're using an outdated strategy. And now living in the informative age, you have to be just on point. And in the studios today, we have a man who is becoming a regular because of his techniques, his strategies. David Roylance, once again, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here a second time. I'm really glad that I'm going to be a regular. I love it. I love being a regular. Thank you.
We met last year, and there's some things which we are running. I think the first question would be, what's up for 2015? Where have you been?
It's a very exciting year. I've been travelling the globe. In particular, I've been travelling to Switzerland. For those who don't know me, I am a leadership coach. I'm one of the UK's top voice and body language specialists. And typically I'll work on a one-to-one level with women, women more than men, because the emotional conversations that you get into tend to be something that the women I work with tend to be more at home with. However, I'm in Switzerland a lot working with people like the head of change management at Zurich Insurance. And so I work with people who are either at boardroom or just underneath boardroom level in large corporate organizations. Normally they're people who are ambitious and they're looking to create opportunity for themselves, but they're avoiding the opportunities that are coming their way, normally because they involve some kind of public speaking, some kind of stepping up in front of an audience.
Yes.
And so they come to me. I'm a professional actor. I'm a professional theatre director. And I think there are a lot of actors in the world that I operate on. But I think what makes me unique is both as an actor and a director. As an actor, I know how to project and present myself. As a director, I know how to make that happen for other people so that they then take advantage of the opportunities that previously they wouldn't have. So yes, I've been working a lot with people, my one-to-one clients at that level, and I'm opening up a group coaching experience which I'm running over the summer, which is called the 90-Day Superstar Speaker Challenge. I challenge you.
Wow! Yeah. You spoke about you working with women.
Yeah.
And I've been hearing many people, they're saying there's a need of women speakers in the industry. How far true is it?
I think it's very true. Actually, that there is a need. I'm kind of on a mission, really, because do you know this idea of presence? The idea of people who have presence, and the idea that exists that there are people who have it and it's magical, and there are people who don't. And normally, when most of the boards of the big companies were almost exclusively male, and I'll give you a story. Because the Royal Bank of Scotland called me back in 1990 to ask me to work with a woman who they wanted to promote because they were an all-male board. And they had to be seen to be modern. That was their view back then. And that all came out from a study that Sainsbury's had done. Their board was entirely male. And one morning someone stood up and said, the board of Sainsbury's is sitting around this table and there isn't a single person here who knows anything about how to shop. There's nobody who's been in our shop sitting around this table. So how can we all make decisions about the business? We need people who use our shop. And so it became apparent that for a lot of the male energy that's going around, helping men, that men have a tendency when they're offered an opportunity to not consider not getting it until after they've not got it. Does that sentence make sense? Yeah? So if someone says, hey, I'm headhunting, Kudzi, I'm headhunting, I think you're the man for the job, then the likelihood is that you would go for it until you either get it or you don't.
Yes.
Whereas the experience that I've had working with women in leadership roles is that when they're headhunted, that the experience they have as they head towards the interview of that headhunting is I don't know if I want this. So they'll start counting themselves out at the very beginning of the process. So for me, because it makes me very angry when I hear people who have that sense of presence going, well, he has it, she doesn't. And often that's the direct quote. And I was taught this by my mentor, Patsy Rodenberg, when we worked together at Guildhall. And it made her angry in the same way, you know. So that's why I'm on a mission to kind of even up the playing field and empower the women I work with to take advantage of opportunities that perhaps beforehand they would have thought about counting themselves out of.
There's this statement which is normally uttered with those who are kind of budding in business. They say, at it
Yes.
until you make it.
That's it.
So as an actor, do you think that's the type of industry we
Well, do you know Amy Cuddy? Do you know the woman Amy Cuddy, who
Yes.
does lots of body language stuff? She is one of the Globe's top experts in that area. And she says, fake it until you become it. That's her line. And I think, you know, as an actor, I have a facility to use the imagination. And as a director, I have a facility to help people to use their imagination to get to the places that they want to get to. So, for instance, I'm working with this chap in Zurich, and he's, since we began working together, he's attained a promotion to where he wanted to be, which when we began work together last December is something that he wouldn't have been able to see as being possible. But he's now starting a new role. He's reassessing the value that he presents to the organisation. He's presenting that to his new team because he now knows where he wants to go and he can direct himself towards it.
You know, they say speaking is an art, and as an art, is there anything that probably is missing within us that probably makes us to feel, no, I cannot do it, or it's just a switch that needs to be switched, which is within? I've heard Les Brown saying, you have greatness within.
Yes.
And times you look deep inside you're saying, come on, man, I can't see any greatness here. I'm just the usual one. What's the trick?
I'm going to give you a quote.
Uh-huh.
Our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. You know, in business, who do you think the majority of sales are lost to? And those of you who run a business will,
Yes.
often when this question gets asked, lots of people in an audience will go, "Oh, it's the competition."
The competitor.
Yeah. The majority of sales that are lost for any business across, you know, any genre of business that you might care to consider,
Yes.
is lost to no one. The majority of sales that are lost to no decision at all. So the likelihood that if someone says no to you for your business, the likelihood is very strong that they're going to make no decision whatsoever. They're not going to go with the competition. They're not going to go with someone better or worse. And I think that's an important thing to know, because we load ourselves up with a number of intellectual fears that affect us emotionally, that they're not natural fears. They're not fears that we were born with. You know, we have a number of fears that we were born with, be it the fear of being eaten by a large animal, which gives us fight or flight and gives us the ability to run at great speed from things that are threatening us, and the fear of being hungry. And actually, it's the fear of being hungry that's the one that affects us the most, because our response to that, the fear of being hungry, is to go quiet and conserve energy. And so most people who run businesses who don't make it, their fear of going hungry makes them go quiet to conserve energy. And so they don't take action. And it's the businesses that take action, that step up towards their fears, that are the ones that create success.
Action. Very much, viewers. You are still on your show, my show, our show, the Digging Deep Show, and we have David Roylance, who is a leadership coach, voice coach. I have been under his training, and the man is just on point. His details are right there on the screen. David, people, they speak of when you stand on the stage,
Yes.
there are certain things which you have to possess, like your body language. What do we have to do in terms of our body language?
There are body language, there are stances, and there are gestures that will suggest to people specific emotions. As human beings are naturally rapport building, we want to like each other.
Yes.
And get on with each other. So we are hardwired to follow the breathing pattern of the person who is most dominant in the room. And if I think of someone like Bill Clinton, who I think I'm right in saying that at the moment he's one of, if not the highest paid public speaker in the world today, who, when he was young, when he left university, he was told, "Don't get a job in public speaking, you're terrible. You're going to bore people to death."
Yes.
And funnily enough, so was Barack Obama. He was told the same thing. But when they decided that they wanted a certain job, they knew that there was something they had to conquer. And what Bill Clinton's done, very cleverly, is he's learned how to create the breath pattern that breeds confidence in other people. Because he knows that if he breathes a certain way, that everyone else in the room will breathe exactly the same way with him. So if he wants to represent calm, he takes long, slow breaths between sentences. And he represents calm, and his voice sounds calm. And the audience go, "Oh my, he's so calm." And they follow that process, and as they get into the same breath pattern, rapport gets built at an unconscious level, and you get to feel like you know that person. Does that make sense? So I'd say when you're stepping up on a stage, it's very important to know what it is that you want your audience to experience of you. Knowing what it is you want your audience to experience, and even better, knowing what it is you want your audience to do as a result of hearing you speak. Because, if you're Tony Robbins and you're motivational, then you'll want to represent that high energy of motivation from the moment you come on. So Tony Robbins will come on and he will do his power gesture on the stage. Like a martial artist. And he'll create that energy in, and I remember when I first saw Tony Robbins, I was in a room of about 7,000 people, they said, was in the audience, and he was there on the stage doing that energy, and he created that energy for 7,000 people who then embodied that energy for 5-6 hours solidly whilst he was working with us. If you want people to be more thoughtful, then you represent that in the way that you breathe. The breath, if you like, is the cornerstone of the work, the way that you breathe.
David, I have seen this in places where you speak, that at times you are speaking, you are speaking in that credible voice, and people are enjoying it. Then later on, you just make a switch to attack the people, probably with one humorous kind of statement. How do you switch off and switch on? Doesn't that extinguish the energy?
Lovely. Do you ever watch Dragon's Den on the television?
Yes.
Fantastic. So those 6 dragons, do you think that they need to see and hear humour or authority first? My feeling is that they need to see the authority first. They need when someone does a presentation on Dragon's Den, you'll notice that the people who go lively and go funny first tend not to get the money. But the people who go credible first and funny second tend to get the money. So they're sitting there with on their table a huge amounts of cash that they're considering investing. And so they've got their credibility brain working, going, is this a wise investment to the person in front of them? And if the person in front starts from a position of credibility and authority, using the lower tones of the voice where credibility and authority sit. So just notice when I go down here that anything I say is more likely to sound like a fact. If I say to you, the moon is made of green cheese, there's, even though you know it's not true, there's a little bit of your brain going,
Yes.
that sounds like the truth. If I come up here, I become much more approachable, and it becomes much more about building rapport. However, if you go into that area, the rapport building area, when you're in front of an audience of people who need authority, they won't connect with you. You do authority first to build the credibility, because this is what will happen. Someone will do a presentation on Dragon's Den, and they'll start asking questions, and they'll be like, hi, I'm Peter. Your 3-year plan, your projection of profit, tell me about it. And there'll be short sentences, and they'll all be in the lower notes, and they'll all be about professional credibility. And the person who's standing there will answer. And if they answer in professional credibility and satisfy that need that the dragons have, then what will happen is the dragons will relax in their chair, and then their voices will lighten, and they'll start saying, so, Quincy, how did you get to da-da-da-da, or whoever it is who's standing in front of them. If they're not satisfied, they stay down here, and they keep pushing, and they keep pushing until they go, do you know what, I'm out. Does that make sense? So, my advice is, they're all, in front of a group of people, you are always going to have people who need the authority first. And so, the first thing I do is tell the people in authority, in my lowest notes, I am here, I am credible, this is my right to be standing in front of you, speaking to you now.
The stages of a voice, the
Yes.
one that is low and soft, the one that we as presenters, when we want to enjoy and want to laugh, we use, and there's a higher note. What are the 3 voices, and how do
The
we use
3
them?
voices, yes, there are 3 areas of the voice, and the truth is that every single one of us has access to all 3 areas.
But how come we don't know about that?
Nobody talks about it. Nobody other than voice coaches like myself and Patsy Rodenberg teach this kind of thing. So we're all born with this natural huge voice, and pretty soon parents and lots of grown-ups are telling us to shush and be quiet, and so we learn to take this extraordinary range that we were born with and bring it down until you get a number of grown-ups who only use a tiny percentage of the natural range that they have. And if you listen to a lot of politicians, and this is news at the moment, that politicians are big on using their voice to speak to people, and all the leaders of all the parties will be working with people like me in order to get the resonance of the voice. Apart from them, though, very few people are investing in the gift that they actually have here, because we can all use it. And these muscles here, the voice box and the vocal folds here, are muscles. And we choose, or habitually choose, only to use a small amount of what we were given by God. But we can wake up the bits that don't get used that often, so that you've got access to all the different resonances that connect with different people in different ways. So there are 3 voices in your voice. What I call, at the low notes, the warrior voice, down here. This is when we're calling people into battle, the warrior sounds. And for men, often these are quite easy to resonate. And because the way that our bodies are formed, our chests are empty, therefore the lower notes in the chest and in the throat resonate beautifully. So this is where men like to get together and talk to each other down here in the I am credible. This is a leadership voice in the warrior zone. So often when men are competing for dominance in a group, you'll get a lot of people resonating down here to show that they are the top dog. Does that make sense? Then there's what I call the heart voice, which is up here. This is where we go when we are looking to connect with people, when we're building rapport. When we're up in the heart voice, we're much more likely to expand the rib cage to hit the higher notes and engage with people. When you're up here, you're showing an interest in the other person. So even if you're not asking a question, it will sound questioning. Because you will end up with your voice going up at the end of the sentence. So these notes will show, I'm interested in you. Then there's the head voice, which is the really high notes. We don't use these very often. You might want to use these when you're engaging with a large audience. It might be useful when you're talking to your audience over the television screen, or when you're in a room with a lot of people, to get people. This is where Tony Robbins goes. Those head notes are the ones that you use to get people to a state of excitement. Yeah. But if you can engage all of those notes at the same time and move through the voice, the brain is a very clever instrument, and it knows and recognizes that movement of tonality in the voice is a sign of authenticity. It's a sign that people are telling the truth. And the brain also knows that when people are speaking on a monotone, that we want to disengage from that, because we're not getting... The movement in the voice indicates emotional truth and emotional commitment to what you're saying. So if there's no movement in the voice at all, the brain's going, I'm not sure about this person. So my advice, you're speaking from a stage, you're speaking to a group of people, you want to get as many notes going as you possibly can, and get them going by warming up your voice and waking up gently the bits of the voice that perhaps you don't use on an everyday basis. I often spend time helping my women clients open up the lower notes of the voice so that they can speak in the warrior voice.
Just like Thatcher.
Yes, because she was the first British Premier to work with a voice coach, and she lowered her voice by an entire octave to go from "Where there is darkness, let us bring light" in 1979 to "The lady's not for turning." Boom. And she certainly wasn't,
Yes. From voice, I know you teach people who stand before people, and statistics, they say when you stand on the stage to speak, it only takes 30 seconds for people to decide whether to listen to you or no.
It's worse than that, because it's 23 seconds. 23 seconds.
So in 23 seconds, what's the tip that makes you to grab the audience in those 23 seconds?
Here's the tip. The tip is whatever you've got to say must match whatever you're doing and however you sound. Because the decision-making process within that 23 seconds, more than half of your decision-making process, all of which is done by the back of the brain, it's all about the emotional connection. So we make decisions about people like that. It's not the clever front bit of the brain who's making those decisions, it's the fight or flight bit that's making those decisions. That's why it's only 23 seconds. If your message does not match the tone, and does not match the body language, and does not match how you present yourself, then people will not connect to you.
You're disconnected, so people disconnected as well. The 3 areas of criminality, I've heard you speaking of this.
I have indeed.
We need people to hear about this.
Yes.
The 10 o'clock news.
Yeah, the 10 o'clock news. And I say to people, always use, when you're talking to an audience, the philosophy of the news at 10. And the philosophy of news at 10 is very simple. And those of you who watch it tonight or whenever, I would say to you, notice this, that news at 10 tells you what you are going to be told. And then it tells you. And then it tells you what it's just told you.
So it's just a repetition of
Yes.
the same stuff over and over.
Three times. Never assume that because you've said it, that your audience have got it. They need to know at least 3 times.
Coming to the big one
Yes.
for 2015, the
big
90-day Superstar Speaker Challenge.
Yes!
When is it starting?
Okay, we start the 3rd of June.
All right. And the package.
Okay, here we go. The 90-day Superstar Speaker Challenge is a group coaching experience. I am looking for a very small group, 15 people tops, to get together and work intensively towards creating a calling card presentation. So here's the way it's going to work. We are going to work together in June, we're going to work together in July, and we are going to work together in September. Face-to-face in central London, with a view to running an event at the end of September or beginning of October where you, the delegates, can invite your audience to see and hear the new you doing your new presentation. Now, the point, what are we going to do together? We're going to work on the voice, we're going to work on the body language, we're going to work on the structure, in order that you have full control of your own experience, your physical experience, your emotional experience in front of an audience, in order you change an audience's experience, in order that you can connect with people at a deeper, unconscious level within the first 23 seconds, so that follow-up conversations, you get more of them, and you get better quality conversations as a result.
So in short, people are just coming for repackaging, rebranding.
Yep.
In all areas, it's kind of an
Yeah.
engine overhaul. We tend...
It's about finding out what it is you want people to get of you and making sure that when you stand in front of an audience, you give them what you want them to see. They see it. They feel exactly what you want them to feel of you. You guarantee your impression. You guarantee you are remembered for all of the right reasons. And that is how you create a successful business.
By the way,
Tickets are going fast, and I was signing up some people last night. So please come and join us. I'd love to be able to transform your experience. I'd love to be able to help you get to where you want to be with your business using the stage. So please, just be curious. If you are curious about this, give me a ring, send me an email, follow up on the notes on the screen.
Thank you very much, David,
you.
for coming in. What more shall I say to our viewers apart from saying thank you so much for giving us your precious possession, which is your time. And to those who are sponsoring the Digging Deep Show, as usual, the Digging Deep Show will not go this deeper had it not been your support. For me and the rest of the team on the Digging Deep Show, we are signing out. Till we meet again. Mwah, love you. Kudzi is my name. God bless you.